Hi everyone! You thought you escaped it. You thought I wasn't going to do a video this Thursday night, but no, I'm here. And today is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to talk to you about something very close to home. I recently got some news that one of my goddaughters is very sick. Um, she had some blood pressure issues at school where they had to call and get to come down and take her to the hospital. Her blood pressure was really high at school, and she is only just turning 14 years old. And they took her to the pediatrician, and she is severely obese at 14 years old and with a BMI of 60. And I see it more commonplace now than years ago when I was the same way. I was the only one, or there were maybe a couple, two trickled throughout the school, but now it's so many girls out there who are severely overweight and have a bad relationship with food very, very early. So, in our concern with helping my goddaughter get well, and all of her cousins and god sisters and brothers are worried about her, and they are going to help, and her siblings are going to help. We're going to help get her healthy, and we're coming up with a plan that's specifically written for my baby and my little goddaughter, and she needs some company. So I know there's other parents who are going through the same thing and may not know how, or may not know what to say, or just really frustrated with trying to help your child who is overweight. So I'm the person, like I was that child. So I was the one that was always on the diet. I was the one that was bigger than everybody else. I was the one who, you know, it was like having a special needs child. That's how it was. My parents had to spend more time with me because of issues due to my weight than they with the other children, and more money, and I always needed something new, and it was just a lot. It was like having a special needs child. So I know the frustration that you may be going through with dealing with the child like that, and not having the societal advocacy, and there's so many social bias against obesity that you don't get help, or you don't get uh, people trying to reach out to you and say how can they help, because it's like, oh, look what you did, or you're not being a good parent because look how your child is, and or you're not doing the right things. There's no like support for people that are going through what you're going through, and there's no support for the child. Like, they hear these conversations, but they're invisible, like that, like they don't hear adults saying what they say. They do, and this plays a large role on how they think and how successful they are. It just affects you. You may not think it's harmless, or they may not show any emotion behind it, but it's in their mind, and some of these things affect them into adulthood. So like most overweight children when I was growing up, it was kind of socially acceptable in Black community to be a little overweight. So it wasn't like a whole big thing. It was like, watch it. You need to, watch it a little bit, but it was never like so serious where it's like you need to really get the doctor involved. Okay, so until it became a point of no return when I was over 200 pounds at 14, 15 years old. Okay. So then it was like, oh, what are you doing with your child? Or why is she so big, after I reached that point? But it took time for me to get there. But we are not catching it early enough, or we're not, they're cute and you don't want to deprive them of anything, and you want to keep them calm, and they want it, and you're tired, and you just give them what they want. Or if you are like my mom, you don't want them outside because it's dangerous, and this and that, and this could happen to them, and somebody could kidnap them, and so their activity levels are low, and they're still eating the same amount of food. Okay, so this is why they're putting on weight, packing on weight, and the quality of the food that we are eating today. And without having knowledge of mindfulness, without having a true knowledge of uh, portion sizes, of caloric intake, of any of these kind of things when dealing with children, this what happens. This is why we get obese children. A lot of parents, especially working parents, they don't have a lot of time to spend with the children. So they take them to where McDonald's, something they like to eat. And most of the time is that, take them to Baskin Robbins. Every time my dad took us out somewhere or do something, uh, uh, it was some food involved. Mind you, my dad did take us to the park and stuff like that, but I was just too big by this point to even participate in any of that park activities, and I had no interest. Okay, so I was just sitting there while my siblings were playing and things, and I wouldn't be doing anything. But we always went for pizza, or we went for ice cream, or we went, and whenever we were spending time with our parents, or he was giving my mom a break on a Saturday or something, we went to somewhere to eat. When we went out with my mom to the mall or wherever, we always went to some restaurant to sit down and eat, or go to the food court. It's it. My main reason for wanting to go shopping with her was so that I could go to the food court. Okay, so this was giving me negative, the not right, wrong kind of reward system. And so that is what we're doing with these kids. They still have emotions, they still have hurt, they just like you. And so what feels good? What can they control? They can control eating. You want them to finish their plate, so they're going to finish it and want some more after, and want some of that too, and want some of that too. So we are making these children like this because of societal biases and just not knowing how to deal with severe obesity as a culture, as a country. Okay, and so what we're going to take to help my baby, my goddaughter, is going to be a joint effort of family and friends and everybody, because we watched her get this big, right? And we should have stepped in or intervened sooner. So it's going to take all of us to come together and help her with her starting her new life. She's starting her new health journey, wellness journey, weight loss journey at 14 years old. Okay, and she can do it, and we just have to help her believe that she can do it. Because if she doesn't buy into that or see the benefit of her doing these things, and it doesn't, and it's feeling just like a punishment or isolation, or it's only her in it, then it won't be successful. If we don't get her to see the value in losing the weight, if we don't show her the benefits to her, she won't participate in, she won't want to participate in what we're trying to help her with. So we're going to need everyone's help who knows my goddaughter. And if you have a child like her or somebody I'm describing that's 14 and up or 13 and up, you can relate to what we're saying. So we're going to start, and we're going to follow a strict rule of what the doctor says, and we're going to have some guidelines for my baby to follow. Okay, so we're going to take the whole family, all of our friends, and all of our acquaintances. And if you have a child like this, I suggest you try to start some of the same type of things. Okay, so we're going to use some behavioral methods, some medicinal methods, and some just social self reflection, self realization just those behavioral things like outside of just patterns and habits. We're talking about how she is on the inside. Okay. So if you have a child like that, I'm going to keep doing these kind of things for the child. Who can relate more than another person who is just like that in the same situation? So I'm going to help and I'm going to do my part. And I hope you guys all do the same thing for a child in your life that's going through the same thing that you went through, even as an adult. Can you imagine how it is to go through it as a child? Okay, so I am doing something special, especially for her, with her in mind. And if you want to join in, or you have a child that needs the same kind of thing, this is a program we're going to be starting. And if you have interest, please reach out. And we're going to keep this here for a second so you can get a little grasp of what we're talking about. And this program is for teens 13 and up. So if you have a child and you're interested, let me know. But we're going to do this with my godchild in mind. So thank you guys. If you have any questions about childhood obesity or any ways that you need recommendation on how to treat, especially on medication, or guideline recommendations for children with obesity, you can reach out to me. Thank you, and guys, have a wonderful night.